Nice cheers. Thank you, Jen.
Well,
You got style. I like to call this meeting to order, and we do have a quorum, and like to welcome everybody. We have our two usual guests. Welcome this morning, and any additions to our agenda? No additions to our agenda. Okay. Okay, like to have approval of the meeting for August the 30th, our last open meeting. And have a, so move,
second.
second, so pass. And with correspondence,
So I do have one piece of paper. Ouch. Hope you didn't hit your knee. I do have one piece of correspondence. There's a copy in your folder. And I also provided a copy to those who are here from the public. It's just a copy of Jared's press release about voter registration of Ian Andre Roberts. So that's there on paper. If you want.
thank you,
Yeah. And that's it.
thank you.
Yeah.
Jay, you on, attorney report.
Great. Good morning, everybody. We have a reminder call coming up with the SBE later in the month. And as you know, the attorneys group, all the attorneys for the boards get together for these calls. And it's our opportunity to forward any issues that you all may have to the attorneys group so we can deal with them in a unified manner. They're starting to do that a little better. You know, we have received Public Information Act requests, which makes it sound like we're the target. But then when you talk to the rest of the group, you find out that these have gone out to several different boards and we're just one of the many. So it's your opportunity in the next couple of weeks. If you have anything that you have interest in as far as the legal side of stuff, let me know and I'll bring it to the group. And that's all I have, Mr. President.
Oh, thank you. Nice and short.
What's the date of that?
That is going to be the 29th.
Okay, election director's report.
All right, so in your folders, and the public has a copy as well, the director's report. Before I start into it, I just want to say welcome to 1135 Business Parkway South, our new place. We are in the process of getting lettering on the side of the building so folks can see it from 97. And then also on all the doors, not all the doors, but most of the doors, some lettering and stuff as well. So we will be able to advertise soon so that be identified. That's right. We did have voters come and visit us finally last week. So yes.
They found you, huh?
Yes, and they found us. Yeah. I also just want to thank the staff. They have been very, very supportive. Jen did all the furniture basically by herself and told her just handle it because she's got very good
Taste.
feng shui. Yes. Taste. Yes. So Jen did that. And then Kim and Isaac are here with us as well, making sure all the technical parts go right. But they've been very, very busy getting the warehouse in order. And then the rest of the staff, as you guys will see later where the offices are, they've just been unpacking and very helpful. And
They're excited about their new space.
I think so.
Really?
It's a little bit further of a commute for myself. Now I'm being selfish, but it's very nice. And it's nice to come to a nice new space. And the air and stuff doesn't smell like the Robert Moten building. But
It's very true.
yes, but thank you to all the staff as well. So welcome to your next time. I promise I'll have donuts. Sam.
Was that a request? Was it?
Sam.
Sam.
Sam just
Opening
wrote.
day, opening day.
Yeah, thank you for bringing
grand
that.
Sam just wrote
Weren't
me
you
up.
bringing donuts today?
I was running late.
We were all running late, it sounds like.
All right. And then also, after the meeting's over, members of the public, I will take you on a tour so you can see the public spaces, meaning obviously this boardroom where we'll have canvassing and election judge training. And then you'll get kicked out and then I'll take the rest of the board on a tour of the private offices. Okay. Okay. If you're interested, of course, if you have time. Okay. So I'll get started on the director's report. So first, public PIA requests. I had two since the last meeting in August. The first one was from a gentleman named Brader Steiner. I'm not sure I'm saying that right. He's from Disability Rights Maryland. His PIA requested a lot of information about the nursing home program. We received it on September 4th, and the response was sent on September 30th, which is within the 30-day deadline. I have not received any kind of response back from him. And then last week, I received a PIA request from my Frank Canella. He's an elections investigator with Bergen County, New Jersey. He asked for specific voter information. I received that on October 6th and then responded on the 7th. That was pretty easy to put together. So those are the two PIA requests that I have received or this office has received. Under important meetings and events, I would say September 22nd, we moved. So we've been here almost a month, pretty soon, coming up on a month already. October 9th, Jen and I had a collaboration meeting with the state board and other local boards. This past Monday was a state holiday. We were closed. It was Columbus Day. Next Tuesday is a Mayo meeting that I know I will have to go to, and I think a lot of the staff are going as well. But the office will be covered in case to answer voters' calls or anyone who comes in person. November 4th, I want to make sure you guys know, is election day, but not here in Maryland because we don't have one this year. So if you have any constituents or anyone you talk to, oh, my polling place isn't open, that's because November 4th is not an election day for the state of Maryland.
Do you know if it is PA? Because since PA is so close to what Westminster.
I
Google.
I know, okay, so there may be some Board of Education contests or something, or school boards that Pennsylvania may have. I know the city of Annapolis also has an election. So there are some small, that's not really small,
Municipalities.
some municipalities that may be happening November 4th. But statewide, we do not have an election. So no election in Carroll County on November 4th. November 11th is a state holiday. It's Veterans Day, so the office will be closed. And then November 19th is your next board meeting. So those are all the important meetings and events coming up within a month or so. Under candidate filing, again, we still encourage candidates to make an appointment through our website. The deadline to file is still Tuesday, February 24th of next year at 9 p.m. And then any candidates who have filed can be found on SBE's website. There is the link. And as we get closer, I'll start to put like a little chart in here closer to the deadline. So you all know who has filed and there's any things there. Okay. Under voter registration, Mia in our office has been very busy. She has done 3 voter registration trainings since September. She did one on September 8th for the League of Women Voters. She did one last Friday, October 3rd, or 2 Fridays ago, for students at McDaniel College. And she also did another one for the League of Women Voters on Tuesday, October 7th. So voting registration is picking up. The monthly statistical reports are always on our website. The link where you can find them is right there in the report. And we are just doing the day-to-day electronic batches and processing mail. It hasn't really picked up too much. It's still very quiet. And then there's a chart there of our voter registration numbers as of September 30th. Any questions so far? I can keep on going. All right, I added a new section for election judges because pretty soon you guys will start getting numbers of how many election judges are hired, committed, before they start dropping out. So right now we are, next Wednesday, the staff and I will be meeting about scheduling training classes to start next year. Probably, I would think March for the June primary. And then the staff will start actually assigning those election judges for early voting, election day, canvassing, and perhaps the nursing home program. Okay. So on the back, I cover IT warehouse. Again, they've been very, very busy unpacking and organizing the warehouse. We can take you up there, of course, afterwards as well. They visited the North Carroll Community School, which is a polling place on election day. They said that they made some changes to the voting room, but there's no impact to voting at all. So still good to use them as a polling place. They also visited the Carroll, oops, I spelled Carroll wrong, sorry. The Charles Carroll Community Center for obvious reasons, because we were hoping to use them as an early voting center, but we'll get to that later. But a lot of work has to go into, a lot of paperwork has to be filled out. A lot of testing has to be done for cellular service at early voting centers. So they did visit the Charles Carroll Community Center. And then I think next Wednesday as well, we're going to start planning equipment allocation for the primary and the general next year. There's a couple voter outreach events that the staff attended before we physically moved. Mark and Olivia, I think, were at the Aging, oh no, it may have been Chrissy, I'm sorry. They were at the Aging Your Way Expo on Wednesday, September 10th. And then also Mark did a an outreach at Carroll Community College. Those 3 days in September where he just had a table during lunchtime and students came up to pretty much grab the free swag that we give away, but to get information about voting and registering to vote, and perhaps serving as an election judge. So a couple voter outreach events. Under personnel, I know I mentioned this at the August meeting. I am required to get an evaluation by the state administrator, Jared Demarinis, and I think he's been in contact with Sam. So I'm basically left out of the process, but so that's coming up, I think, in November, if I'm not mistaken. And then also the staff and I were talking about a holiday party. I put this under personnel. We were thinking that maybe after the meeting on Wednesday, December 17th, all of us would go out to lunch somewhere. We'll get maybe a poll so that or poll, P-O-L-L, is that my Western Pennsylvania accent coming out? A ballot for you to vote on where you guys would like to go out to lunch afterwards. So
Any suggestions you might have?
Yeah.
You're welcome.
yeah, any suggestions? I know one time we went to Maggie's. You remember that?
Yes.
Yeah, and then any places that you think might interest you, certainly let me know, me or Jen know. Under county government, very quiet. There's still some things that they're working with us for this new building, making sure all of our cameras are accessed and are working properly. Again, the lettering for all of the buildings, I'm sorry, all the doors and stuff. But they've been very, very helpful. We've got the cleaning company on board, the pest control people were on board. The county's been very, very helpful as well. But the main thing is pretty soon I'll start preparing the FY27 budget, which is crazy to me, because so fast. So probably at the December meeting, I'll give you a proposed draft budget, and then you guys will vote on that.
Have the commissioners or anyone reached out about welcoming to the building, being like, hey, we did something great for our election people and they're in a new building, like no opening ceremony or anything?
No, and quite frankly, it works both ways. I've been quite quiet about it as well. I know a lot of people asked if we were going to have a ribbon cutting, and I'm more of a take a back seat to that, just because it's a lot of pomp and circumstance that I don't know that I don't know. If they reach out to me, absolutely. If that's something that they want to do, sure.
Cool. That's what
Yeah.
that's what I'm on board with. I didn't know if they were like they
Yeah.
were pictures.
Yeah.
So.
No, they haven't mentioned anything. We were thinking about having like an open house, especially for our election judges, maybe at the beginning of next year after the holidays and things settle down.
Hopefully we have our signs.
Yeah, they will have our signs and our verbiage and our lettering up on the building, but maybe having an open house for election judges so they know where to come.
Just to remind them, we've moved.
Yeah,
Oh.
yes, correct.
Yeah.
Before
Right. For the
training
long day,
starts.
right.
Yep. Thank you for the question. If that comes to fruition, that someone does contact me, of course, I'll let you guys know. So 2025 board meetings, there's only 2 left of the year. It is crazy. November 19th, December 17th. And then I've also listed the first half of 2026's board meetings there. I stopped in May just because then we start getting into early voting and everything else, and some board meetings happen at different times as well. Then, of course, all the important dates for the elections next year. That's all I have, Sam, Mr. President.
Okay.
Anyone have-
Question on a holiday party. Is that going to take the place of the regular holiday party that we have?
Yes, we were thinking,
Yeah, okay.
yes.
In the past, we've done things where we've gone to restaurants, and then the last couple years, I guess, we've just hosted it at the office. So we thought about going, if we went back to that
Yeah.
way it used to be, and go
Last
to a
year,
restaurant instead.
we had the exchange of gifts.
We did.
Mhm.
Okay.
I don't think we can still do that if you're interested.
Did you guys like that?
Yeah, I like that.
You like the, okay,
Yeah, but this will suffice. It's
Okay.
fine.
okay. Yeah, I'll talk to the staff, see what, we want to do, and then maybe we do come back here, do a gift exchange or whatever. But,
Or depending on where we go, if there's
Yeah.
room, you know.
Yeah, we could
room
do it there
to
too.
it.
like Bullocks. That's where I want to go.
I thought about it. I really did.
I love their stuffed
Yeah.
chicken breast.
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's
I
good to
thought
know.
about bullets and we haven't been to bullets. It sounds like a plan, actually.
And they have like little rooms. So like we could have our own room too.
They do have that little area over there,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think Aaron made a decision.
Yeah. What is, sounds good.
I'll make sure
We're
it's
gonna-
okay with the
Yeah,
staff
yeah,
too.
we're on the same page. Okay, okay, we're down to, unfinished business, which, I don't think we had any.
That's gonna be me. So under unfinished business is ethics. So I'm gonna take a few minutes here. So I brought up last meeting, and I may have brought it before, that I reached out to the Ethics Commission regarding Sheriff candidate Jay Lansing Jr. His secretary or treasurer is my mom. So reached out to them to kind of get like some guidance on what they think should happen, they being the Ethics Commission. So they had a meeting, and then they said, they basically issue a letter that says like, this is what you should and shouldn't do. And it's a lot of opinion. It's not like there's nothing set in plan. So I highlighted a few parts that I'll read out loud. Just Section 5-501 of the Public Ethics Law prohibits a state employee or official from participating in matters involving a qualifying relative. So that would be my mother. The SBE has created its own guidance, and the commission agrees with this guidance. This guidance prohibits participation in matters such as voting on election plans, picking up ballots, conducting poll and plus evaluations, voting on any ballots that require a board decision during canvass, and any other matters concerning handling of the ballots. So that's kind of some things that I and us do. Additionally, the SBE advises that the board members shall not participate in any campaign capacity. I mentioned last time, I've never met him. I don't plan on going to anything with him. The most that'll happen is I'll probably send this letter and the plan that I'll touch in a second to them and just say, so you're aware. The last point of this is we recommend you enter a non-participation plan agreeing to not participate in any manners related to the campaign, and you adhere to the additional rules. They can help, and it's basically the CCBOE, and you should be proactive about mitigating any appearance issues. So I'm bringing it up now. Just that's where we are on this. I'll meet with Aaron and include Jay and kind of say, here's where we are on things that they do not want me to do. A lot of the things, obviously, any votes to reject ballots during canvass is done unanimously.
But that's saying you shouldn't participate?
Correct. I
Okay, I
can
just
still be a
wanted to make
part
sure
of
I
guidance
understood.
of
Okay.
canvas, but they say I shouldn't be a part of that vote.
Right,
So
okay, gotcha.
the appearance of inappropriateness or appearance of whatever. So
Right.
I'll come up with a more formalized plan along those lines. Today, when we vote on, are we voting on the polling plans? So I'll just abstain, I'm sure. And again, like I'm sure other counties are more involved. The board is with actually doing the work, and we are greatly blessed with having Aaron and the team do all this work of taking the polling plans. So again, just being forthright. So if you have any issues or objections, and you want to reach out to me personally, privately, or at the meeting here now or later, please do. As I said, I'm not hiding anything. I just would like to, this is the current place of where we are on everything. So yeah.
Okay.
Anything? Cool. So before the next meeting, I'll put something together that just says, I will do this, not do this. This is the compromise we came to on polling place evaluation, like picking up the drop boxes. We'll work together on that. I'll work with Aaron on that. And yeah.
Okay.
That'll be good. I don't quite understand what it is you shouldn't and shouldn't do.
Yeah, they basically, the thing is, they're concerned about appearances is what it boils down to. They do not want it to appear that I am favoring a specific candidate
Right.
because we are an impartial board. So, so like if I was to, I'm going to pick up the ballots from the Tony Tom Dropbox the one time we do it, and I'm going to drive with them in my car 15 miles back home, might look a little worse. But if I go with someone who's up at a different party, like well,
Their protection.
yeah, so we'll do.
Protections are already in place.
Yeah, so we'll make sure
Right.
all that is in place. So any questions before we move on? Because I just wanted to, I'm not hiding anything, as I said.
Yeah.
They say share the. Do
Just as a favor, could you forward the, to us?
you want a digital or a paper copy?
Digital is fine.
Okay, then I'll forward the
You
email to
can
everyone.
pull it up too, you
Thank
know.
you. Thank you, Ben.
And, okay.
Yeah, I'll just forward the email to everyone then the other day. So,
Okay, thank you.
Jay, do you have anything, comments or questions?
No, Ben brought this to my attention when he filed it with the State Ethics Board. And as he said, we have different rules that apply to us. Ours are not only in the state code, but also in our bylaws. And so I think we can work around this. This sounds like a one size fits all type of thing that we want to make sure. But I think for us, it's not going to be that big of a deal. We just need to know what we can count on Ben for and what we can't, because that changes the numbers of what you all, the remainder, are going to have to do when we can't utilize him. So I think it's going to be no problem.
Okay, thank you, Jay.
Where this is going to have
Okay.
an impact.
We'll move on to Sharon with new business. Cool.
All right, so under new business, so this is the election plan. So I'm going to project, thank you, I think, and perhaps the lights. I'm on a different, need to share my screen as well. So anyone who is online can also see it. So let me go back. I was testing it earlier to make sure it all worked. And now I'm on a different screen. I need to be on the home screen. There we go. Yeah, so that's it's so light, huh?
Yeah.
Very hard to see.
White background, Windows selection.
Can we move it this way? I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry, ladies.
I mean, we just see it. It's just really faded.
Yeah. So, yeah, if we put it over here, I think you guys will be able to see it better.
Put it right in front of the bench.
Yeah. And then we're gonna have to move this.
Yeah.
Not straight at all, but. Thank you, Isaac. In the meantime, I can go back to. So those of you who are online, we are just trying to get the projector here. Good. Okay. So Jay, if you're on the computer, I'm sharing my screen. Can you just confirm you see? Good.
Yep, it's all good.
Excellent. All right, so in your folder, board members, you guys have a copy. It has 2 slides on each page. That's a lot of ink. And you all in the public have a copy as well with some notes on there. Okay. You can follow along. You're fine, you get it. Okay. And Jay, can you still see? I just want to make sure.
I did. There was a bluebird for a second.
Yes, okay, good. All right, so welcome. This is the election plan for the next year's elections, the gubernatorial elections. There's 4 parts really to this that I want to explain to you. So I'm gonna explain the election law and why we have to do this election plan. And then we will go over our plan for the polling places, early voting centers, and then the ballot drop boxes. So all of this information that we gather for our polling places, early voting centers, and ballot drop boxes has to go to you, to the board. And then once you guys approve or disapprove and we come back, whatever, then it goes to the state board, meaning the 5-member state board of elections in Annapolis will also either vote to approve or disapprove this same very plan. Okay. We started this in 2020 for the 2024 elections. We only had to do polling places, but now we have to also do early voting centers and ballot drop boxes. So trying to make it a little easier for us local boards to just vote on everything all at once. Okay. So the next slide, we're going to talk about election law a little bit. So basically what election law 2-303.1 requires each of us to submit an election plan for polling places, early voting centers, and ballot drop boxes. Okay. It also requires us to post our plan on our website, which there's certain wording we have to use, which that was posted on, oh, I tell you later, Monday, September 29th. So it had to be posted 14 days prior to today's meeting. We also have to provide written notice to those who ask to be notified of any polling place changes. And I can tell you that I've sent, and also provide written notice to elected officials who represent all or a portion of the county. So you all received the email. I think I included the board members. I also included all 5 county commissioners, all of our state delegates like April Rose and Chris Boucher. Senator Reedy was included. I don't know them all. And Chris Tomlinson, I believe. And then also anybody who asked to get notification. So there's 4 people on our list who asked to get notification, and they were emailed as well. One of those folks asked to get a text message, and so a text message was sent also to that person who asked to be notified. All these items are required to be done again 14 days prior to this meeting, and they were all provided on Monday, September 29th. And then again, this plan requires approval by the 5-member state board of elections. So even though hopefully if you guys approve this, it's not all said and done, right? So we have to wait until December to get notification that our plan has been approved. So I want to start with polling places first, because that's the easiest. There's no changes from the 2024 elections. Some fun facts, we have 51 precincts. 2 of those are ghost precincts. And if you don't know, does anyone know what a ghost precinct is? Yeah, there's no voters. And no voters can ever register there because it's the corner of 32 and 97, the little median triangle right in the middle of that road. Or it's on the coast of the side of Liberty Reservoir. Just a little sliver that has a different congressional or legislative or senatorial district. So no, those are ghost precincts. No voters could ever register to vote there. So that means we really have 49 precincts where voters are registered. We have 25 polling places. If at least, so we'll have the Board of Education, if at least 7 candidates file for Board of Education, in the primary election next year, we'll have 147 ballot styles. But if only 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 candidates file for Board of Ed, we will not. We'll only have 49 and 49 is 98 ballot styles.
Isn't that what happened last year? Or
Yes, absolutely. You're right. That's what happened in the primary last year, because there's 2 seats and only 4 people filed for Board of Ed. So what we call that as a collapsed race or contest. So it wouldn't be on our primary ballot. But so far, nobody has filed for Board of Ed. But now that I said it, everyone's gonna bombard us, right? So polling places, there are no changes from 2024, same polling places. Okay. So now, I have a slide here. Do you have any questions about polling places? If you need a list of polling places, it's on our website. I can certainly put one or email it to you as well. All right. So we'll go to early voting centers. So under election law 10-301.1, we are required to have 3 early voting centers based on our voter registration numbers. In 2024, our 3 early voting centers were Westminster Senior Center, South Carroll Senior Center, and the Copper Mine Panther Plains. We can't use Copper Mine anymore. Well, that's not true. We could use their gymnasium, but the parking is not ADA accessible. And if you remember, we did use them in the primary of 2024 because we couldn't use their media room, which is the room we would like to use. They cannot promise us the media room this far out. So that, they did offer the gymnasium, but the parking over there is not, again, ADA accessible.
Surprised.
It's very far away from the front entrance to where you would go to vote. There's a little hill. There's a road there that's very dangerous. And I do believe during the primary last year, they put up signs, like
Yeah.
flashing signs to make
Right.
sure, like
Nobody used it.
Upon your
pedestrian,
request.
yeah,
Mhm.
upon our request for pedestrian crossing, because you have to cross that road from the parking lot to get to the voting.
Well,
So we kind of decided, you know what, maybe we should start looking at other places. So for the 2026 elections, we will still use Westminster. They're always on board with us. The South Carroll Senior Center, they're fine. And this time we're going to propose to use the Charles Carroll Community Center. Okay. Before I introduce you to Charles Carroll Community Center, I do want to let you know that we did reach out to the Hampstead Volunteer Fire Department. Because it's kind of in the same general area or location where Copper Mine is. They could let us use it for the primary. Again, 9 days straight. They would have to cancel their bingo or anything that they have. We could use them for the primary, but we couldn't use them for the general because they already have a contract booked on that
Yeah.
Saturday of early voting. Do you want to
Right.
change early voting centers on voters between elections?
No.
Especially during a primary and a general. So we were like, you know, this is great. And we still have them on the back burner just in case. But we just can't use them in the general.
Does the Hampstead, I don't know if it's the Hampstead, called the Hampstead or the Manchester Senior Center.
The North Carroll Senior
North
Center.
Carroll Senior Center.
We have used that before.
I thought so.
Yes.
Like, does that not work well or?
No, so where they're located, that's a privately owned, I call it a strip mall. Okay.
Right.
Privately owned business area.
Mhm.
The landlord, we used them in the 2022 primary.
Mhm.
The landlord did not like the political signs out there and basically told us we had no right to be there. That's when Katie was still here.
Mhm.
And that's one of the stipulations. You have to allow, obviously, political signs
Yeah.
outside 100 feet. So the North Carroll Senior Center is not an option either.
Well, weird.
Yes.
Because
We
we
learned
did it
that
in
the hard way.
primary and then we had to switch in the general.
Oh,
So that's when
You
we
went to
moved
Copper
to
Mine.
Copper Mine.
okay.
So we're trying to avoid
Switching
switching
again.
mid-elections again.
Other places we thought about was the Hampstead Library. Their rooms are just too small to house all the equipment and stuff for early voting. There's a Manchester's Activity Center. I know that the staff have looked at many, many times. Again, the area is just too small. Okay. So I'm going to introduce you guys to the Charles Carroll Senior Center. I'm sorry, no, Charles Carroll Community Center. So a few things about them. It's a county-owned building, which is great. Then we don't have to pay rent, right? And also, because our county workers are so great, they're so excited for us to use it as early voting because it gets people in there to show them what it's all about, right? There's existing cameras in place and also existing security measures in place, again, because it's a county-owned building. It's a polling place on election day. So voters are familiar with the area because they know they go there. Some of them go there on election day. It's ADA accessible, right? It has cuts in the sidewalk, so voters in wheelchairs know where to go. The parking is ADA accessible. There's plenty of parking there, so there won't be a problem. And of course, they will allow electioneering, which is important because they have to allow electioneering for candidates to put out their signs. So some pictures. This is the fun part of the presentation. Oh, it's so hard to see. I wish it was bigger. That's the building. Okay. The next picture is, and again, all of this stuff has to be submitted to the State Board of Elections. They see these pictures, they see everything as well. This is, again, just the entrance, the entrance to the building. And you can see all the handicap parking spaces there. So it is ADA accessible for parking. And this is the main entrance here. Okay. The next picture is what we call, oh, it's so hard to see. I'm sorry, you guys. The next thing we call, what do we call this? A Visio. It's a Visio map. Yeah, it's like the voter flow. That's what I call it, is the voter flow. So you'll see that voters will enter the side door. There's our check-in and our provisional stations. After they check in, they go to get their ballot. Thank you, Kim. They go to get their ballot, and then they either go to the ballot marking devices or they go to the voting booths there in the middle to vote their ballot. And then the scanners will be up here in the corner, and they go and they scan their ballot, and then they exit the same way they came in. Pretty self-explanatory.
Quick question.
Yes, sir.
Some of the places that I inspected last year, there was a problem with electrical outlets in the voting area, and we had to run large amount of cable. Has anybody checked to make sure that this place has adequate electricity for our equipment?
Yes, and you can see there are some outlets here on the top of the Visio or the voter flow. And that's sometimes what we do run into, right? The outlets having to tape down cords and stuff. I mean, that's pretty common. But
But this is already being used currently as a polling place.
Okay,
So we've had the setup and know how to run the cords.
Okay,
and
thank
everything at this location because we've been here for a few years.
okay, thanks.
thank you for the
And
question.
the building was recently
That's
renovated.
what I was thinking. It's a newer building.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Nothing built.
I've never been to it, so I don't know.
Oh,
Really new.
yeah, it was an old school that they tore down and then built this new community center. So it's a brand new building and it's beautiful.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
The next picture I have for you, this is basically the no electioneering zone. We send these out to every polling place. This will be on a cone, probably outside of the no electioneering zone. But again, this is all submitted to the state board, so they know we have a plan for this. So the red circle indicates the no electioneering zone, so that's 100 feet from the entrance. And voters, if they have to stand in line inside the Charles Carroll Community Center, there's a hallway. So if there's inclement weather and voters are in line, we can get them inside so they don't have to get rained on. But also, if they need to form a line outside, there is a nice long sidewalk underneath, like a overhang, thank you, that they can also stand under. So plenty of room to get voters shuffled in and standing in lines if we have lines. Okay. All right. So other things that the state board does for us. So and also Jen and I have already had conversations with the staff at the state board, making them aware that we have to move out of Coppermine. And basically this is the only place that is ADA accessible, that would fit the number of equipment and voters that we need. And it's easy because it's a county owned building. So the state board made up these maps. Okay. And these maps there's 4 of them I'm going to show you. But these are basically, this is a 5-mile radius map. So if you look at the circle around each of our early voting centers, you'll see the South Carroll Senior Center. It basically almost 26,000 voters live within 5 miles of that, of the radius of the South Carroll Senior Center. You can see Westminster's numbers there. Hopefully you can see them. I can't because I don't have my magnifying glass here. But then also they drew a 5-mile radius circle around Charles Carroll Community Center. One of the important things is there's a percentage over here on the left side. So basically 51.15% of all Carroll County voters live within 5 miles of one of our early voting centers. Okay. The percentage that the goal is 80%.
I know.
Carroll County will never, ever reach that, ever. Because the northern half, I mean, basically past here, right where we are, it's just all hills and rural areas, okay? Yes, yes. Go Carroll County. I'll show you the 2024 map as well, because there's a percentage on that one too. But I wanted to make sure you saw, this map here. Yes.
And that 80% comment came from, not from Aaron, but that came from a conversation with someone at the state board. They were the ones that said
Yeah.
they've played with different spots and no
Yes.
matter where we put it, we'll never reach that 80%.
That's right.
I'm sure there's
Ideal.
other counties that don't either.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially out on in the Eastern Shore as well.
And I was thinking Cecil County. I
Mhm.
mean, they're never.
So, that's the first map. That's just the census map there. And then this next map is voter density. The darker, again, the darker the color, the more voters are in that area, right? That's that. There's nothing I can say about it. You can see the heaviest, the most dense voter population is right in Westminster and then over in Eldersburg or Sykesville. And we have early voting centers there. The next map is minority population. This is what the state board defines historically disenfranchised communities. And you can see the darker the purple, the more minorities live there. This is very interesting because this Charles Carroll does cover more of the historically disenfranchised communities than when you see 2024 map, you'll see then what Copper Mine covered. So that's that map. And then another map the state board does for us is voter turnout. And you can see the darker the color, the more below average of voter turnout. So yes, it's interesting, isn't it?
Below average compared to what?
Well, that's a very good question. That's a good question because they don't have statistics yet to
Right.
compare. Because we just started doing this for the 2024 elections, but based on their calculations. Okay. So now I'm gonna go to the 2024 maps. And now you'll see that Copper Mine has the radius over there. And if you notice the percentage over here on the left part, that says 58.9%. So in 2024, 58.9% of Carroll County voters lived within 5 miles of one of the early voting centers. Again, we'll never reach that 80%.
Favorite.
Never. Here's another map. Again, this is the voter density map when we had Copper Mine as an early voting center. This is the minority population map when we had Copper Mine as an early voting center in 2024. And then, of course, the voter turnout. Now, also what I've done is, I have put both of the maps side by side so you can compare. So the map on the left will be the 2024 map that shows Copper Mine, and the one on the right is hopefully 2026 showing Charles Carroll. I like the lining of it.
I do too. I feel like where it's spaced, it helps people more in the Tawny Town area.
Yeah, I feel like it's definitely more
As-
centrally located. for
Yeah,
sure.
as opposed to before it was all the way over in the one area. This
Right.
is more central between the two.
Well, yes, and quite frankly, I mean, anyone who lives in Tawny Town to go to early voting either drove to Westminster or drove the whole way over here. I don't know if it's the whole
Right.
way. I've never made that trek myself. But having Charles Carroll here in the middle,
Well,
does service the voters of Tawny Town a little better as well.
It may help with the last one, the lower voter turnout, which is a huge section on the
Yeah.
Frederick County line. Like by going to Charles Carroll, it'll be easier for them to shoot up to Charles Carroll versus go all the way to Westminster as far as roads go.
This is at the cost of Hampstead and Manchester.
I'm sorry.
Right,
At the cost of Manchester and Hampstead, whose
please
people
everybody.
are now going to have to travel further.
Mhm.
They will,
But
but
again,
when you look at how the line is.
Yeah.
It just seems like it's a more of an even point for
I-
both
Oh,
of them.
sure, I have
to
no
be
problem with
able-
that. The
Yeah,
other thing is,
but it,
with roads being what they are, Manchester and Hampstead have
Right.
this problem.
Yeah, they can go
Getting to
27 or
voting centers.
482.
Yeah, 27, they got 30. Yeah.
And I don't know if it matters, but Copper Mine, out of the 3 early voting centers, Copper Mine was the least busiest.
Was it?
Yes,
Oh,
always the least
okay.
busiest.
Close population density.
So here's the next set of maps. As soon as I find my mouse, everybody. Whoa, whoa, whoa. There's the next set, just side by side again, so you can see a comparison of the voter density. This is the minority population. Again, if we move to Charles Carroll, there's actually, yes, what's the word? There's more,
Better representation.
yes, there's better representation for the minority or historically disenfranchised communities. And then the last map compared side by side, the voter turnout map.
Yeah.
Again, the higher the green, the more below average of voter participation or turnout. Then we shift it to.
And the reason the colors, I can have glasses on, I can see the fine print on the bigger maps, but for the rest of the board, the map on the left is voter data from 2028 and 2020 gubernatorial and primary elections, and it's below average for 1 election, 2, 3, or 4 are the colors. So it looks at like historically how many of the past elections has a below average have they been on not a percentage of how below average, of how consistently have they been below average of what their voter turnout is. That's the reason the colors are different, where Silver Run is up there where this will be covering. They had a little better turnout in one of the previous 4 elections on the map on the right, because that includes 22 and 24 gubernatorial and presidential elections.
Thank you. Thank
So-
you, Ben. So any questions about early voting centers? And then I also have on here a board vote with a question mark. I didn't know if you wanted me to keep going or stop and talk about the early voting center before we move to drop boxes.
This is a place that I've done the polling reviews on the day of. It's a nice area. There's a little pavilion just outside of the electioneering circle, so people can put their stuff there. There's 2 little playground next to each other. There's still ball fields there. So it's a nice area. My only concern is nothing that anyone will be able to do is turning in and out of there's kind of a nightmare because it's 97 and it's up a hill and you kind of have to turn a little bit. But if a big truck can get in there to deliver equipment, then I can in my truck. So.
Well, and during early voting too, we have the feather flags, right? The big feather flags that says early voting. They're huge. And a lot of signage as well. And we can even work with county to make sure that
maybe we can get an electronic sign
Mhm.
saying, slow down. for
Your neighbors are
turns."
selling one of them, actually. The
Okay.
moving company had one of them for sale, one of those like construction boards that says like, construction ahead. So
I'll tell the county that. Okay. Yeah, and we can get some special signage as well. Any other questions or anything? Do you want me to continue to ballot boxes or do you want to take a vote on an early voting center? These early voting centers? It's up to you.
You can continue.
Okay, I'll continue. All right, so next we're gonna move to ballot drop boxes. Ugh. So we're required to have 6 ballot drop boxes. In 2024, you can see we had 6 of them, obviously. One at the office, all 3 early voting centers. We had one at Westminster Senior Center, one at the South Carroll Senior Center, and of course at Copper Mine. And then we also have 2 other drop boxes, one at the Mount Airy Senior Center and the Tawnytown Senior Center. So for 2026, obviously, we have to move the location of the drop box we used at the office to here, right? Because now we're here. And then also I would propose, we'll still use Westminster Senior Center or drop box location, the South Carroll Senior Center, Mount Airy, and Tawnytown. But because we're hoping to move from Copper Mine, we would also like to put a ballot drop box at the Charles Carroll Community Center if it's used as an early voting center. So let me show you here. I got some pictures. Don't be surprised at my fancy Dropbox here. This is actually the camera location, the view from the camera that would be, that's mounted on our walls to show the Dropbox. So clear view of anyone who tampers with it or anything that's right outside to our left. So that's where the Dropbox would go. I have a little gardening I need to do with the dirt and stuff, but we'll get there. And then at the Charles Carroll Community Center, this is where the Dropbox would go. Again, these are actual camera footage, clips from the cameras that are there. You can see this is over here is where the entrance is. There's a nice wall, and I think the pavilion you were talking about
This
is like
building
right
out
back here. Yeah. So the Dropbox would face out this way, so the voter would come up the sidewalk, drop it in, and then this is another camera angle that we have access to. So if anyone tampers or anything with that Dropbox, we'll be able to pull that footage. That's it. That's the Dropbox.
So I have two questions. One actually is about voting centers. Is Tonytown Senior Center not viable as an early voting center?
It's small.
Yeah, it's really small. We've
Okay.
been up there.
Yeah.
It's really small. Wouldn't be
Cause
able
it's old.
to- And I don't think the parking is,
I bet you there would be a problem with parking. There's,
That's fine. Just know that's the other population center on that half of the
Yeah.
county or whatever percentage of the county. So that's only nice. The other question is, and I don't know if this is just talking out loud, but is it better to have a Dropbox at Charles Carroll or still have one out on that area of the county being Manchester, Hampstead? Is there anywhere that's viable to have cameras and security? I more so just for discussion purposes. I'm think you do a great job. So I just kind of want opinions on that.
yes, and we discussed that. The staff and we did discuss that. Do we keep the Dropbox at Coppermine? Because we're taking away their early voting center, but at least they still have a Dropbox there if they want to put their ballot in. We will have to get the county to install cameras again, because they take their cameras out
Okay.
after it's over. So that's money, of course. We talked about the library.
well, and also if we're using their space,
They're
they're
gonna
going to
charge
charge
us
us a
rent.
fee.
Yeah, they're gonna charge us
They're
rent.
going to
It's a
charge us a
business.
fee for doing that.
Yeah.
So that it's not a free location to
Yeah.
do.
We looked at the library in Hampstead, but the Hampstead Library also has a book drop-off, and I think it's very
Oh my
confusing.
God.
Yep,
And I've heard horror stories in other counties about that.
Yeah.
Voters would put their books in our Dropbox or put the ballots in the book drop-off.
you went the other way around.
Yeah,
And then we
And
had
the media would cover
North
it.
Carroll Senior Center, which we can't use because of the owner of that. Won't allow
He
the
would charge
signs.
rent too, I bet.
Well, he doesn't like the signs.
Oh, right.
It's the signage, which is why we had to leave before.
Mhm.
So we can't use that. So those are, unless we
I
come
was
up with other
thinking-
options.
Right. I was thinking just because especially the older population, which I'm a part of, our previous Robert Modem location, like throwing a Dropbox there just for, I don't know how many people have used that, but if that's a solid Dropbox thing, people just don't change no matter what. You can have a news conference and they'll still go there.
Yes.
So has that been considered?
So yes, we did consider that. The only problem is that other agencies are well into already probably moving into that space. So, and I know down there with where the double doors are, where the Dropbox was,
Right.
the state's attorney's office has completely squared that part of that vestibule
Okay.
and over to the left where Kim had her supplies. We don't have, obviously, we
Sure.
don't have access to it
No.
anymore. But there's other, and I do believe that the health department is using some of that space as well.
Would they let us, you think, at least put up a sign with this address to direct the people that go there?
I believe, absolutely.
Yeah.
And also remember too, the Westminster Senior Center is literally not even a half mile down or, away from the
Right.
old office
Yeah.
too. Yeah,
know,
but
that's
definitely, just like we do with polling places, whenever, we don't use a polling place, we put a sign, like your polling place has changed.
Yeah,
We definitely can put a sign at the Robert Moton
right.
to let them know that you can either go to Westminster, which is
Right,
right down the road,
exactly.
or come to our
2
office there.
minutes. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes, we did think about that.
Yeah.
Other questions? And remember, again, this all goes to the state board. So when they meet, I don't know, in the end of November or December, and they say, no, we don't like it, it's back to square one with us and then you guys. So anyway. I did not. I did ask the state board how much one of the drop boxes cost. I haven't gotten a response yet. And also they have to be, they're manufactured in North Carolina, so it's a good lead time as well, but no, I have not
So
gotten a
if we
cost.
added any boxes, then there's the cost involved in that.
No, I think outside of any realistically viable options of putting one back in Manchester.
Yeah.
I like having one in Charles Carroll, and then, yeah, so I'm gonna let him take it.
Just a quick question. Someone asked, is Manchester Police Department also a possibility? Has anybody examined that site?
In 2020, there were boxes at a police, was that Manchester?
No, that was Tawny Town.
Was it Tawny Town?
That was Tawny Town.
Okay. And I don't know, no, I have not thought about that. I hope that they would let us tap into their camera system. Because we do have to have 24/7.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm sure the police department has that.
Oh, I'm sure, I would think
Yeah.
they do.
That might ease the concerns of people in the northeast quarter.
I can tell you also, I've received no public comment about this. Again, on our website, I don't have this on our website, the PowerPoint, but I do have a memo stating that, the board will be considering moving Copper Mine Pantherplex to Charles Carroll Community Center and then the 2 drop boxes as well. It's all in you guys' hands right now.
What would it take? I'm not sure what the timeline is for us to issue our approval of this if it comes today. But my concern is that there's a significant chunk of population in Northeast that would be inconvenienced to some degree by moving out of Pepper. We have to do that, so that's clear. That's not a problem for me. But I think that polling like a Dropbox might be if not a necessity, certainly something that the people would appreciate. And I would ask that we consider something in that northeast corridor as a Dropbox,
And are you suggesting in addition, so a 7th drop off?
either in addition to or an instead of, and I'm not sure what the instead of would be.
So I can tell you also this plan is due to the state board November 23rd, 25th, maybe. We can look into the Manchester Police Department,
And the cost associated with it.
the cost associated with it. And then at your November meeting, I can come back and report the cost or whatnot, or what it would take to put a drop box at the Manchester Police Station.
Want to make a request for that?
Yeah,
And then vote on it?
I actually do want to make that request.
Is that like a motion and stuff?
Right, I would think so.
We just table the vote until,
Yeah, well, it
Ending
would be just a motion to postpone, right? Tabling means we.
Well, the reason, but
Never mind the parliamentary.
you need to state the reason for it so that
Yes,
that gets done.
the reason is clear, in the interest of, providing greater service to that northeast community.
So basically, table drop boxes, ballot drop boxes
Yeah.
for now.
I have no problem with with voting on the, locations of our early voting centers.
We are tabling that or we're gonna make a motion.
Yeah, so the motion is to, specifically to defer voting on the drop boxes until after we get information about, Manchester Police Department or other, viable place in the Manchester, Hampstead area.
Get a second on that motion.
Don't look at me. I can't. Gina, Karen,
I'll second it.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Like a motion, did the motion carry, sir?
She was, she was the.
Gina, then you second.
No, Karen seconded.
I
Karen
seconded.
seconded.
I thought
Did
Gina
you,
said she was.
did you oppose or you just didn't vote?
I'm an I. I
Okay,
don't
okay,
oppose.
okay, that's fine.
and I'm abstaining.
Right.
And that's.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
But we do want to vote on polling places?
Yes.
Sound appropriate?
Early voting centers.
That's the one.
Mhm.
Okay.
You can still vote on polling places if you like. Nothing's changed, but you can still vote on them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not in the motion, but if someone wants to make a double motion to approve both of them, we move things along.
I make a motion to approve all the polling places as stated.
Second.
So
All in
approve
favor?
polling places.
Mhm.
And
All in
Gina-
favor? Aye.
Aye.
And then do you want to make one for early voting centers?
We already had, voted to.
No, we just did polling places.
6.
I make a motion to, accept the early voting
Second.
boxes as stated so far.
Did you second?
Mitch second.
What is the second? What's the motion again?
Yeah, we separated those two things and we could have put them together and made it easier, but we didn't, so we'll proceed.
So Karen made the motion to approve the proposed early voting centers.
Which we passed.
Right.
We're trying to.
Which you're
We need-
trying
we need a
to.
No, I
second.
thought-
Prior to that was
yeah,
polling
I-
locations, and prior to that was tabling the ballot boxes.
It's three separate things, Mitch.
Yeah, good.
Right, okay.
We used to.
So we need a second on the last motion.
Second.
Mitch,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
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 Pass.
And Ben abstains.
Right.
Correct. Ethically, yeah.
Oh, there's my questions. Anybody else have any questions? Yeah, we're gonna have to get
Mm-mm.
one in here or something. Yeah, that is it for that presentation. So let me close this and I'm gonna stop sharing my screen at one point. Just give me one moment. I'm gonna stop sharing. Okay.
Sam,
Okay,
Okay, okay.
all right. Disclosure of campaign contributions.
I don't know if this is a campaign contribution or not. I bought a ticket to the Lincoln Reagan dinner. I mean, that's considered a contribution, I think. The Lincoln Reagan dinner, it's a dinner that the Republican Central Committee has every year. Oh, I feel like that's probably a contribution, right, Aaron? All right, yeah, I'm not sponsoring it, but I bought a ticket.
It's always better, even if you don't know, just to.
Exactly.
You said it.
Yeah.
Nothing,
What else?
never. You can't. Don't look at me. Campaign contributions were
Oh, okay,
chairman
nothing.
class.
Yeah, I have nothing.
I'm still a cheapskate, so no.
Okay.
Okay,
You see him?
so why we,
You got-
none?
That's for my campaign? I'm kidding.
Oh. No, okay, well, while we in this area, we might as well. How we doing on our donations for our Christmas
Well,
party?
You know,
as far as I
I
know,
need to run. Is there like an easy way to get in and out? Because I meant to, my whole pocketbook's in the car. I meant to bring my money. I mean, I have my money in the car if I can run out.
Okay, we can do it.
Can you do it afterwards? Okay, but I want to, Mitch is the,
Money
you're the
pouch.
I
collector,
left
right?
money pouch.
All right, I'll
in
run out and get
my
it.
office.
You got your,
I'll get that and put that in.
okay. What is it, $60?
Yeah.
$60, yes. Do we need to break $100 bill?
I think I have changed.
Oh, good, thanks.
I'm putting
Thought I
in
could go get it. All right.
Today.
Yeah. I'll run and get mine as soon as we're done.
Sam,
It's in
thank
the
you.
car.
Cause it's, $60. I think I gave 20 before.
I have it
On the
written
40,
down in the
she-
office.
she
I
shared
I
the
have to
record.
grab.
Okay,
Okay, cause I.
we'll see
I
you
have that.
afterwards.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you adjourn it?
Okay. If there be nothing else, we can, make a motion for adjournment.
Motion?
That's a plan.
I will motion that we adjourn.
A second?
All in
Aye.
favor? Aye. Nobody opposed that.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna stop the stream
Great.
now.
Thanks for the presentation. That's
I'll have something.
Thank you, Jay, for joining.